Hello everyone, and welcome back to Conspiracy. I had a whole thing written out on this script for 100 subscribers, but we're at 200 now, so this is crazy. Thank you so much for 200 subscribers. I think at time of recording, I'm at like 210, I think. It blows my mind. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you. I hope you enjoy the content. I hope if you have any suggestions on how I can improve or anything that you would like to see, leave them down in the comments below. You know, I'm more than happy to improve or make content. If that's, you know, whatever kind of content someone wants to see, I'm more than happy to throw it up there. So thank you so much for 200. It blows my mind that 200 people subscribed. I do have something planned special for 1,000 subscribers that's cryptid related, but again, thank you so much for 200. It actually blows my mind. I could not believe how fast I've gotten to 200 subscribers. It blows my mind. Thank you. This week's topic was actually suggested by Josh Franz under the comments of my Purple Streetlights video. It's on Operation Paperclip. If you would like to leave a suggestion, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below, and I'll take a look at them, and if I think there's enough there, if I think it's interesting, I'll go ahead and I'll make a video on it. Thank you everyone so much for choosing to spend some time with me today. I appreciate it. With that said, let's get into it. Operation Paperclip was a secret United States intelligence program that brought more than 1,600 Nazi German scientists, engineers, and technicians from former Nazi Germany to the United States for government employment after World War II ended in Europe. Largely carried out by the United States Army's Counterintelligence Corps, Paperclip was conducted by the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency. The majority of the 1,600 Germans that were brought over to the U.S. were former members and even former leaders of the Nazi Party. In early 1945, the United States Joint Chiefs of Staff established the first secret recruitment program called Operation Overcast, which was to, quote, assist in shortening the Japanese War and to aid our post-war military research. It wasn't until late summer of 1945 that the Joint Chiefs of Staff formed the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, JIOA, mentioned earlier, which was to directly oversee Operation Overcast and later Operation Paperclip. The JIOA representatives included the Army's Director of Intelligence, the Chief of Naval Intelligence, the Assistant Chief of Air Staff 2, which is the Air Force Intelligence, and a representative from the State Department. In November of 1945, Operation Overcast was officially renamed Operation Paperclip by the Ordnance Corps, who would attach a paperclip to the folders of the rocket experts whom they wished to employ in the United States. The primary purpose for Operation Paperclip was to boost the United States against the Soviet Union in the Cold War, as well as the space race. You'll notice here that I said the primary purpose was different than the primary reason for Operation Overcast, but that's due to the name change, and it's probably a PR move. With Operation Overcast being to, you know, stop Japan and then continue post-war efforts, and then this one to defeat the Soviet Union, Cold War, and to go to space. The Soviet Union then responded by relocating more than 2,200 German specialists, over 6,000 people with their families, all in one night on October 22, 1946. In a secret directive circulated on September 3, 1946, President Truman officially approved Operation Paperclip and expanded it to include 1,000 German scientists under temporary limited military custody. The United States government obtained part of a list they found stuffed in a toilet called the Osenberg List. The Osenberg List was essentially made after logistical losses that the Nazis suffered on both the Eastern and Western Front. It contained German scientists who were on the front at the time and who were going to be brought back to help defend the Reich in less of a combat role and more so of a logistical role. The list was put together by Werner Osenberg, hence the name the Osenberg List. Atop the Osenberg List, and recruited to the U.S. from the finding, was someone that most people in the United States are pretty familiar with, Germany's premier rocket scientist and the United States head of NASA for a little bit, Wernher von Braun. Von Braun is for sure the most well-known of the Nazis that the United States brought over. In fact, he's known as the father of rocket science, or the father of the American lunar program. He also led the United States Army's rocket development team in Redstone Arsenal, which resulted in the Redstone rocket, which was used in the first live nuclear ballistic missile tests conducted by the United States. Early on in Operation Paperclip, the United States created something called the Combined Intelligence Objectives Subcommittee. This would provide information on targets for the British intelligence forces that would go in and target specific military and industrial installations for their know-how and their employees. This is actually where infrared technology as a whole came to be widely available. After the war in Europe was over, the United States issued evacuation orders sent to scientists in East Germany in fear that the Soviets would use them for research. By 1947, this evacuation operation had seen about 1,800 technicians and scientists moved from East Germany to West Germany, along with roughly 3,700 of their family members. They were basically like, hey, the Soviet Union is going to use you for your technology and your know-how. Come over to the other side so that we can use you for your technology and know-how. In 1945, the United States Navy received in custody Herbert Wagner, the Austrian inventor of the HS-293 missile, which was used to sink over 25 Allied ships. He worked and lived in Long Island, New York, until 2 years later, when in 1947 he was moved to the Naval Air Station Point Mugu in California. 1945 is also the year Wernher von Braun was offered a one-year contract to work for the United States military, which he accepted. He was moved to Long Island as well at Fort Strong, along with 126 other German engineers. This was not without its controversy, of course. How could it be? Several Paperclip scientists were later investigated due to their links with the Nazi Party. However, only one was ever formally tried, and none were ever found guilty of any crime, either here or in Germany. George Rickey was the one scientist who stood trial and was returned to Germany in 1947 to stand at the Dora trial, which was a war crimes trial conducted by the United States Army, where he was acquitted. In 1951, a Walter Scherber was linked by the Boston Globe to human experiments conducted by the Nazis. Instead of a trial or anything, the United States military actually helped him emigrate to Argentina. The last notable controversy is that in 2013, a Hubertus Stronghold was revealed to have done human experimentation during his time as a Nazi, and the Stronghold Award was renamed. It is the most prestigious award from the Space Medicine Association. Speaking of awards, not only was the United States importing Nazis to help with their own war effort, but they were receiving awards. 5 former Nazi Party members were given the NASA Distinguished Service Medal, which is the highest award that NASA can give. In 1966, Siegfried Meyer was awarded the Department of Defense Distinguished Civilian Service Award, which is the highest honor the Department of Defense can give to someone not enrolled in the military. In 1961, 1966, and 1984, 3 former Nazis were given the Goddard Astronomics Award, which is the highest honor the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics can give. Wernher von Braun, George van Tissenhausen, and Oscar Holder were all inducted into the United States Space Camp Hall of Fame. 5 Operation Paperclip scientists are in the International Space Hall of Fame as well, and lastly, there are 2 craters on the moon that are named after Kurt de Boy and Wernher von Braun, both former Nazis and Operation Paperclip scientists. So this is really interesting because there's a lot of turmoil around politics and political prisoners and stuff today in the Western world, and in the 1940s, post-World War II era, they were giving awards to real-life Nazis, naming awards after real-life Nazis, and going as far as to name a real-life Nazi as the father of space travel, the father of rocket scientists, and also indicting real-life Nazis into halls of fame. In 2022, governments aren't putting you in a hall of fame for wearing a mask or refusing to wear a mask. They're painting protesters as evil people who need to be locked up and watching $600 Venmo transactions. You might be thinking to yourself, but that's just because these people were smart. But that's not entirely correct. If the government kind of forgave crimes due to smarts, well then Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, dude never would have gone to jail. These people were useful. They were able to help advance the United States in rocket science to help in the space race against the Soviet Union and help the United States get more tech to fight Japan to officially end World War II. If the United States needed small arms bomb tech to help end a war during the Unabomber era, you can bet that there will be like the Ted Kaczynski Award from Harvard or something. And he himself would have multiple awards instead of being in a supermax prison. All the opinions I just gave, they're actually just not my real opinions. They're like, haha, very funny in Minecraft opinions. I don't want to get murked. I don't want to get griefed, bruh. So they're not my real opinions. They're just the funny haha opinions I have in Minecraft. The United States, not a perfect country. Never has been, never will be. But importing the very enemy that we sought to destroy in order to win a war and a space race was a modern day low, with the low, of course, being slavery. Just remember, haha, the next time you see someone being locked up for possession of marijuana, haha, In Minecraft, there are literal Nazis who conducted literal human experiments in halls of fame across the United States. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you learned a little something, or I hope at the very least I gave you a little something to think about. Thanks again, Josh, for the recommendations. Again, if you have any video ideas, leave them in the comments below. Oftentimes, a lot of what I say is just haha funny jokes in Minecraft. It's like I'm like a parody account now. I'm like a parody account. I hope everyone had a good holiday and a happy new year. Here's a picture of me and my girlfriend from Christmas Day, actually. So we had a good time. Let me know what you did for the holidays and or New Year in the comments down below. Again, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have any video ideas, leave them in the comments below. Thank you for spending this time with me. I really do appreciate it. I'll catch you guys in the next one in Minecraft. Haha, it's all funny jokes.